All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We are looking at how artificial intelligence is fundamentally rewiring the scientific method, literally moving us away from this era of slow, manual, trial and error experiments into a completely new age of hyper-fast digital simulations. It's a total paradigm shift. And today we're going to break down exactly what this means for the future of human discovery.
To really grasp the sheer scale of this shift, I want you to just think about this number: 200 million. In the span of about a single year, Google DeepMind's AI, AlphaFold, successfully folded 200 million proteins. Just to put that into perspective for a second, that is pretty much every single protein currently known to science. It's an unfathomable haystack of biological mysteries solved in the exact time it takes the Earth to make one trip around the sun. Absolutely wild.
This kind of mind-bending pace is exactly what led Demis Hassabis, the CEO of DeepMind, to declare that we are standing in the foothills of the singularity. You know, we aren't just looking at a cool new software update here. No, we are standing at the edge of a monumental shift in both science and society. It's the dawn of an era where AI doesn't just, help out with research on the side, but actually accelerates the very pace of discovery itself.
Section 1. Science at digital speed, accelerating discovery. Let's actually look at how the old way of doing things stacks up against this new reality, especially when it comes to getting tools out there. Traditionally, if someone invents a groundbreaking method, think something like CRISPR. It takes a solid decade to percolate through the scientific community, get into the wet labs, and actually become a standard tool for your average PhD student. But with AI-driven science, DeepMind basically put the entire AlphaFold database online in a matter of months. So now, instead of needing access to some elite, multi-million-dollar lab, over 3 million researchers across 190 countries can access these exact same structures with just a simple keyword search. It's literally the speed of a software deployment, but applied to the foundational building blocks of life.
Section 2. The end of boring labs, freeing human creativity.
So what does this digital speed actually mean for the human scientists doing the day-to-day work? Like, are human researchers about to become obsolete? Well, actually, scratch that. It's quite the opposite. Nobel laureate Paul Nurse candidly points out that traditional wet lab work is often, in his own words, enormously boring. It involves spending countless hours just transferring tiny little volumes of liquid from one test tube to another. You're basically watching a meniscus inch up a tube instead of, really stretching your mind. But the new AI lab steps in to completely liberate scientists from these tedious robotic tasks, giving them the ultimate freedom to focus on rapid iteration and true creative thinking.
And that's absolutely crucial. AI isn't replacing human scientists, it's acting as the ultimate lab assistant. It's taking over the busy work so humans can actually use their unique scientific intuition, or their taste, as some call it. Like Demis Hassabis notes, actually asking the right question is often way harder than solving it. So let the AI handle the pipetting while human minds focus on the profound stuff.
Section 3. The big data trap, avoiding tech seduction.
Now, having these super fast tools and literal mountains of data does bring its own massive pitfall. We have to be super careful not to fall into a trap that's already plaguing modern research. Paul Nurse calls it tech seduction. We're constantly seeing high-profile scientific journals publish these massive, incredibly expensive data sets that honestly lack real meaning. Researchers are just using the flashy tech to gather data because they can, without ever really pausing to draw firm conclusions or understand the fundamental biological why behind those numbers. It's just data for data's sake.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates exactly why AI is so incredibly vital right now. For the last couple of decades, big data was the huge buzzword, right? But the human mind simply cannot comprehend this massive deluge of complex, emergent data all on its own. Hassabis argues, and I think he hits the nail on the head here, that AI is actually the perfect description language for biology, much in the same way mathematics is the description language for physics. We absolutely need AI to sift through the noise and find those hidden structures.
Section 4. Simulating the virtual cell, simulating life itself. So let's see how all of this builds toward the next grand scientific challenge, moving way beyond just individual proteins and using AI to simulate life itself, starting with a completely virtual cell. Now, the recipe for these AI breakthroughs usually requires 3 specific ingredients. First, you need a huge combinatorial space, a problem space way too huge for just brute force calculations. We're talking something like 10 to the power of 300 possible protein conformations, basically an infinite number. Second, you need a crystal clear objective function to optimize towards, like minimizing free energy. And third, a vast source of high-quality data. Systems like AlphaFold or the drug discovery models at Isomorphic Labs, they succeed precisely because these three ingredients align perfectly.
But simulating an entire cell, that is ferociously difficult. And it's all because of what Paul Nurse playfully calls floppy biology. See, unlike a computer program that just completely crashes if there's one wrong line of code, biological cells aren't these tightly regulated, rigid little machines. They are highly variable. They actually avoid fatal errors by being inherently disordered, sloppy, and totally flexible. So to build a truly virtual cell, we need an AI that can actually handle the sheer, messy chaos of natural selection.
Section 5. The AGI Rubicon. Approaching AGI Risks. Of course, as these AI models become powerful enough to model that floppy chaos of biology, they are simultaneously becoming way more generally capable. Which brings us incredibly fast to the arrival of artificial general intelligence, or AGI. And we just can't talk about this revolution without talking about the risks. Hassabis outlines the sort of escalating staircase of challenges we've got to face. First up, bad actors. We have to stop people from repurposing these tools for harm, like bioterrorism. Then comes technical alignment, making sure these highly autonomous systems actually stay within human guardrails. From there, it's about economic sharing, ensuring the benefits are distributed globally. And finally, that ultimate philosophical question, what exactly is human purpose in a post-AGI world?
To tackle all of this safely, Hassabis makes a really important distinction. We have to separate intelligence from consciousness. Right now, we are building tools for intelligence. These are systems capable of solving impossibly complex general problems and simulating reality, but they're not self-aware. They don't have feelings or a sense of identity. We need to cross the Rubicon of building safe intelligence first and purposefully leave the profound, murky mystery of consciousness for some distant future threshold.
Okay, so where do you fit into all of this? The democratizing power of this tech is just unbelievable. You might think you need some multi-billion-dollar supercomputer to get involved, but you don't. Literally, a motivated student anywhere in the world can grab small, highly capable open-source models, like Gemma 4, for example, and run them locally right on a standard laptop. You can spend your time analyzing and stress testing the black boxes of these existing AIs or jump into multidisciplinary science. The barrier to entry has literally never been lower.
Section 6. A new golden age. The next renaissance.
So what's the ultimate payoff of integrating AI right into the beating heart of the scientific method? Well, if we can successfully navigate those technical and ethical risks on that ladder we just talked about, we are standing on the precipice of a modern renaissance. Hassabis firmly believes that the next 10 to 20 years will usher in a new golden age of scientific discovery, a time where our human curiosity isn't bottlenecked by tedious lab work or the absolute limits of human data processing, but is instead totally supercharged by artificial intelligence.
Which leaves us with one final thought to ponder. The tools are already here. The speed of discovery is accelerating to a total digital blur, and AlphaFold was honestly just the opening act. But as we hand over the heavy lifting of scientific analysis to our greatest invention yet, are we truly prepared, as a society, to cross the Rubicon of AGI and unlock the ultimate mysteries of life? It's a massive question, and one we all need to start thinking about right now.